Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Esaias, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive.
Let's go! Welcome everybody to Street Apologists Live. This is a Saturday edition, July 11th, 422 here in Phoenix, Arizona. If you're in New York, like my guest today, Alfredo Valentin, a.k.a. BK Apologist. Then it's 722. But how y'all doing? I'm very excited about today's program. This is Street Apologists, where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked. I've got the wrong thing on the screen up here, but don't worry. We'll get rid of that just like that. And now we're going to get started looking at some UFO, some alien stuff as it relates to theology, as it relates to apologetics, as it relates to scripture, biblical worldview, all of that. And even how it relates to stuff like Hebrew Israelism. That's right, as you saw the clip at the start of the show that BK sent me. So BK Apologists, welcome to Street Apologists Live. Tell people how to find you.
What's going on? Part of people, the place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city. Brooklyn is the borough.
How people find your stuff online, bro?
Oh, man, you can find me at BK Apologist on YouTube. You can catch me on Twitter, BK Apologist. My government name on Facebook is Alfredo Valentin. And I'm out in these YouTube streets, man. I'm out here.
YouTube streets, yeah. All right, sure. Man. Well, I was setting up this show and you said, yo, VOCAB, you got to let me get on that. I did not realize that BK Apologist was also an expert in ufology, like many things that he knows.
I'm going to go that far.
And we know one place when people ask this question of, are UFOs in the Bible? One of the first places they turn to is Ezekiel 1. So today's program is going to have a special emphasis on looking at that. So the first thing I'm going to do right now, BK, is I'm going to play a clip put together by a One West Hebrew Israelite. But the reason why I'm going to play it is simply the KJV reading of Ezekiel 1. And what makes it unique or interesting or odd is somewhat similar to the beginning clip I played, also put together by a One West Hebrew Israelite. It's the imagery. So we're not going to co-sign all the imagery, but this reading will give us a chance to hear the scripture and then also give people a chance to kind of hear the scripture, but then kind of see some of the images is sometimes associated with the scripture in these circles when it comes to these discussions. So with that, what you want to make any introductory comments before I play Ezekiel 1 here?
Nah, man, I'm just looking forward to chopping it up with you, man. So
all right, here we go. Let's clip over to it, and then we're going to interact with this. It's about 5 minutes, but you got to be able to hear the scripture, and we're going to interact with it. So everybody take notes, and with that, let's go. Hit that like button, y'all. Grab this link and share it, y'all.
The book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 1. Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Kibar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Kibar, and ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces, The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake.
All right, well, thank you very much there to the One West Hebrew Israelite who put that together. Essentially a reading of Ezekiel 1 with the assumed imagery. Now we get back over to today's guest, my main man, Alfredo Valentin, a.k.a. BK Apologist.
There.
All right, well, I don't know if you're able to see that. I tried to screen share, but hopefully you saw it.
Yeah, no, I looked at it via, I think, I saw it.
All right, cool.
And, I mean, he starts off almost with a semblance of biblical accuracy, and then he went straight Independence Day on us, like right after that. Crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Independence Day is sort of a famous favorite source from which One West Hebrews like draw imagery. But just so everyone knows, you know, we're dipping into some Hebrews Light stuff, but we're not only going to be talking about them. We're going to talk a little bit about Chariots of the Gods, going all the way back to the 60s and 70s or whatever. We're going to be talking about some stuff that Heiser talks about. We're going to talk about some stuff Fararrkhan said. So there's a lot here because as UFOs and aliens are more and more present in pop culture, you also see it popping up more and more in religious beliefs as well. So, Alfredo, how would you frame this issue as we discuss the meaning of Ezekiel 1 as it relates to these bad interpretations? How do you want to frame it? I don't know if you want me to already jump into the PDF.
I mean, yeah, we could definitely jump into the PDF.
All right, here we go. Well, if you could speak while I get that set up, my man.
Yes, sir. I want to say what's up to the people in the chat. What up, D. New? We got Gary Perry. We got Titus 2. We got Isaiah Braxton. We got Emmanuel Gary. What's going on? We got Barak Atta Most Highest. I hope I'm saying that right. Captain Bloodfire. Tippy Bear. What's going on? We got Shawnee Miller. What's going on? Yes, slides, Shawnee. Slides. You already know.
All right, bro.
VOCAB is Eclipsing BK. It's his channel, Nate. The heck? All right, so
the slides are up and you're on the screen, my man. Go ahead.
Cool. So, of course, when we have any kind of discourse, the first thing we got to do is define terms, right? So, this idea of it being a UFO, right? Well, what is a UFO? Well, it's an unidentified flying object. It's a object in any aerial phenomenon that cannot immediately be identified, right? So, with that understanding, you know, when we go and look at what Ezekiel was seeing, can you go to the next slide there, okay?
Well, yes, I can. Like I said, man, I'm the DJ. You're the rapper.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, just give me a second, though. Okay, there we go.
All right, so, okay, let me look at it from this perspective. Can I see it from here? Can I see it?
It's
yes,
Daniel 7:9 is what you got.
Cool. I see it now. So, so as I looked, thrones were placed, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was white as snow, and the hair of his head was pure wool. His throne was fiery flames. Its wheels were burning fire. Does it sound like? Oh, that's not that. That's not what Daniel. I wanted. That's not Ezekiel. I thought I put it in Ezekiel. Keep going up. Up. Keep going. Up.
Man, we're showing our whole hand here.
I know. It's terrible.
I mean, I can put, if you need the text of Ezekiel on
keep going.
screen, you know what I'm saying? I can do that easy. didn't know. No,
Yeah,
I don't see the
I guess
text
they
of
didn't.
Ezekiel in the PDF.
So they did.
Dang,
But anyway,
man, you messed up. You got 42 slides. And you don't even have Ezekiel.
but yeah, all right. So you can leave it there. So when you look at Ezekiel 1, you know, and you don't even have to put up the scripture, but if you actually read and you see him describing what he's seeing, he's not struggling giving you a depiction of what he's seeing. He's not saying it looks like it could be this, but I'm not sure. He's telling you exactly, he's giving you a play-by-play what exactly he is seeing. So right off the bat, it's not unidentifiable to Ezekiel. It's just not. So just on that alone, it is not a UFO. He knows what he sees. And there's some background, too, behind that as well. I don't know if you want to get into that already, vocab, but there's a reason why.
Shout out to Paul P for the super chat. You talking about the iconography?
Yes.
Yeah, we could do that if you want. I mean, that's your next. Right. That's the next.
Slides,
I believe. I mean, here.
Well, that's what I wanted to read. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably an important slide. So let me. So here's what it is, guys. When you stumble across Ezekiel 1 in the Bible, right? For everybody in the West, right? It looks odd, strange, unique, perhaps even bizarre, because of the imagery. However, if we go back to Ezekiel's time and culture as best we can by looking at other iconography, so I heard Heiser call them the Polaroids of the ancient Near East. Right. We look at other examples where some of this symbolism was employed, we can get the general idea of the way any particular image was generally used. And it then becomes a tool by which to understand the vision, as opposed to just a bizarre imagery that we sort of just start from a clean blank slate trying to look at and figure out. So that's very important to put all that in context to understand. Now, it's also important, as you can see somewhat on the screen, this exact image you won't find anywhere, but that's not the point. The point is it's a combination. So think of Voltron, think of Devastator, all these different elements combined for one thing with each symbol remaining intact, but yet through the biblical and not a polytheistic pagan worldview. And so that's some of the background. So from there, Alfredo, I'll let you take it away.
Right. So it says none of the elements of Ezekiel's vision are foreign to religious iconography of the times or before Ezekiel's era. The cloud/storm element of the vision is very common to the Old Testament and is chiefly aimed at Baal, the king of the gods of Ugarit, the storm god, which is outside Babylon, both terribly common to Israelite thinking. Hence, the vision of Ezekiel in many respects is an amalgam of familiar early Israelite theophanic portrayals of Yahweh and Babylonian elements, all designed to put Yahweh in the picture, ousting the pagan gods.
So it's
right.
It's polemical there. Everyone needs to understand it's polemical. It's like a diss track. You know what I mean? In a sense, right. It's like a diss record there.
Right. So if you could get to the next slide, sir.
Yes, I can. And shout out to everyone in the live chat. I see you guys. Thanks for being patient, by the way. You guys are good people. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is from Kill Otmar, Visions of Yahweh, Seal Art, a new interpretation of the majestic portrayals in Isaiah 6, Ezekiel 1 and 10, and Zechariah 4. So we could go to the next slide. And so as you see here, you see some of the iconography that was popular either presently in his day or before his day. So you see similar characteristics. You see these wings, right? These creatures with various wings holding up a particular deity. You see the one on the left. It has multi heads, right? And it's standing on a platform. Next slide, sir.
And that platform will become important later.
Yep. There we have this ancient chair where you see these cherubim, these guardian creatures upholding the chair, the platform of the chair.
And so everyone understands this is Israel's cultural neighbors, so to speak. Right. And so they're using some of the common techniques artistically to portray things with Ezekiel's words. And we're showing you these, what are these called? Facsimiles of these items.
Right. And what you see here, right, we see this table, and the table upheld again by these cherubs. You see the multiple faces that Ezekiel talks about, and we see the wheels at the end of these tables, right? So this is very similar to what he sees in this vision. Next one, vocab.
Yeah, man. Wheels of steel. Just getting out there.
And again, you see more. You see in this one, you see. Oh, let me make sure I see this myself. Can I see this? Yes. So you see the God on a chariot, you know, being brought along by this creature, this winged creature. So you see various elements of this deity brought forth on a chariot with wheels. Vocab, you want to say anything?
That's the hot religious graffiti of the day, bro.
Basically, this was an end-to-end burner, right? This is
and now we have Alfredo's favorite.
Wow, really?
The God with a bunch of eyes and a wiener.
Well, besides the phallic symbol that preoccupies vocab,
aka the wiener.
Yeah. So again, you see the multiple eyes, the multiple heads, the wings, the platform, right? Again, this is familiar territory for someone from Ezekiel's time. I think I got one more. Go ahead, vocab.
So, this dude, man, this dude's kind of scary to me because, first of all, you know, he's got his junk out, but then he's got eyes everywhere. And
so he knows if somebody's looking.
It's like, yeah, it's like real unsettling, man. It's like that, you know, when you're trying to, you know, you're in the urinal, man, and the guy looks over thinking you're looking at him. Man, this dude, man, he'll know if
he is
looking at, but it's his fault because he's just rocking out, you know. All right, here we go.
All right, so here's a commentary by Daniel Block on Ezekiel. It gives us some more context to this vision and why this vision is so important. But for Ezekiel, the exile of Jehoiakim also had personal significance. His own deportation probably meant the end of all his professional dreams. The use of the first person in 33 verse 21 and chapter 40 verse 1 suggests that he was among the 8,000 soldiers, craftspeople, and nobility who had been sent into exile along with the king. So he was out of a job at this point, right? And it was a very prestigious job. And of course, you know, when you lose your job, you know, you get bummed out. So when he sees this image, you know, it kind of it reinvigorates him because it's like, once again, he's at service to Yahweh. You know, vocab, you want to comment on that?
Yeah. So check this out. Let me put my face on the screen real quick here. Ezekiel being in this, you know, special class would need to operate according to the law, the way Israel is supposed to do things, right? In the temple and its environs. That should be where his service should take place at, if I'm saying this all right.
Yeah.
But you guys have to understand, and I'm just reiterating what was said. I just want everyone to follow along here. You got to understand they're in exile in Babylon. The majority of the Israelites, especially the sort of elite or the cream of the crop of society, right? Snatch them up, leave the poor people. That's kind of how they did things. So with that, Ezekiel is out there too, you know, and he can't really do what he is supposed to do. He's not in the proper geographical location to do it. He's not in their land. They're not in their land. And you can see that in the vision right in the beginning. It's interesting, you know, I want to reiterate, in the 30th year, the 4th month, on the 5th day of the month, as I was among the exiles by the Chebar Canal. That's very important, that setting, that autobiographical as well as note for his people. Very, very important. This Chebar Canal would be near ancient Nippur, and put that in modern terms, halfway between Baghdad and Basra, so that's in Iraq. So it's not, this particular vision of God here is not in the city of Babylon itself. Nonetheless, it's still among the exiles there. And then there's a bit of a debate about this 30th year, but one interpretation that I find relevant and therefore meaning relevant to the passage, and therefore likely, is that this 30th year is his age, Ezekiel's age. And the reason why that matters is because guess when, everybody? The priests were supposed to begin their service on their 30th birthday, their 30th year. And if you do the math and go to the end when I believe he receives his final vision, or when this is all done, it looks like it's the end of the time of when a priest's age would be, is my understanding according to the numbers there. You know what I'm saying? So the point is, this sort of, I don't want to say it's a replacement, but this is his temple service in a way.
His first day at the job?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is Ezekiel's first day at the job. And it's essentially, God's not stuck in Jerusalem. He's coming with us. So go ahead, take it away from there, my man.
Yeah, next slide.
All right. All right.
So he goes on, he says, he was a victim of a common ancient Near Eastern policy toward conquered peoples, the mass deportation of entire populations designed to break down national resistance at home by removing political and spiritual leadership and to bolster the economy and military machine of the conqueror's homeland. This also plays with this ancient Near East idea of cosmic geography. You know, each nation has its own national god. So the idea is, if I could come in and take over and take you from your land and put it in my land, that's also, you know, me thumbing the nose of your god. You know, it's a sign of disrespect. And it also says that he was not powerful enough to keep you in the land. And now you have to adhere to my God, because now you're in my territory.
Yes.
Right.
So he couldn't protect you.
Right.
And so also, you know, why should you worship them? Why should you worship him? Of course, he couldn't protect you, even on his home turf. You know, where he had the home field advantage. You know, that's similar to the way they would look at it. And essentially, what some A&E scholars generally call a tribal deity. And so that's the general way people looked at it. But if you really see, of course, the strokes there in the prophetic literature and really in the whole Hebrew scriptures, it's clear that Yahweh is the God of the universe who created all over all peoples, right? And in fact, even the plan he's working out through Israel is to ultimately bless them, if you understand the Abrahamic covenant. So the thing is, though, when you're in this situation, finding yourself in Iraq when you're supposed to be in Israel, you can't do your job because you're not at the temple and everything's beat up in your society, right? That's what you're feeling. That's what you're thinking. That's what you're seeing. And yet this vision is ultimately, even though it looks unsettling to us, it's ultimately, yes, displays God's power and glory, but it's also somewhat of an element of comfort of Yahweh is with us even here.
Right.
I'm going to go to the next slide. Yes, sir. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So here's an example of what we're talking about here in, if I could see, I think that's
1 Samuel 26:19. Please listen to what I have to say. If the Lord has turned you against me, maybe a sacrifice will make him change his mind. But if some people have turned you against me, I hope the Lord will punish them. They have forced me to leave the land that belongs to the Lord and have told me to worship foreign gods.
All right, so here's an example in scripture of what we're talking about, this idea that, you know, because I'm not in my land, that I'm supposed to now worship the gods of the land that I am presently in, right? And I think I got one more before you can stop sharing. You can see the next slide?
Footnote. In ancient times, it was often believed that gods, even the God of Israel, could only be properly worshipped in their own countries, and only a country's gods should be worshipped in that country. Real quick, there is actually, to a certain extent, an old original series Star Trek episode that partially deals with this. It's called Who Mourns for Adonis, I believe is the title. It might be Who Mourns for Apollos. But in that episode, they come across a planet, and in this planet is an ancient Greek god. And the crew of the Enterprise come to realize that the ancient Greek gods actually did visit Earth a long time ago, and they were actually simply aliens, extraterrestrials. And what happens is that the people didn't understand that and ended up worshiping them, the people of Earth. And so there was a basis within alien visitation for actual Greek gods. In this particular episode, the way it's portrayed. And now the Enterprise has stumbled across this planet, but there's only one guy left. Because people stop believing in them, they sort of lose their power. And here's the point of why I'm saying this bizarre parallel. In the episode, he's sort of mean to them, and basically he's like trying to bully the crew into worshiping him. And they come to realize the source of his power is the temple. So his power is drawn directly from the temple. And so what they do is they focus their, powerful laser beam from their starship onto the temple, destroying the temple, and hence by weakening him where he can no longer fight them. To a certain extent, that's the way people in the ancient Near East thought, that the power is like drawn from the geographic location, specifically the temple. You destroy that, you take away that, and the god has no more power. And it's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek. I'm more of a Star Wars fan, but I did like that one. Go ahead, bro.
So, do I have another slide? Let me see the next slide.
Bible Study Magazine. Heiser
digs into
Naaman's request to take dirt from Israel back to Syria. When Elisha healed Naaman of leprosy, Naaman recognized the God of Israel as the one true God, and Israel itself is God's holy ground. He brought the turf of the one true God into the territory of a false one.
Right. Again, so we have this. We see it throughout the scriptures that there's this idea of the home and away team type of theology, and the reason why this is so important is so that we could really we get the point and the impact of this vision. The vision wasn't just to startle Ezekiel, though he was in awe of what he saw, but it was a polemic. It was saying that even though, because what happened is, and as humans we still do this, we get into a bad situation, and even though we're the ones that caused it, we like to blame other people for it, right? So Israel has been deported to this other land, but it's because of their rebellion towards God. But as you know how human nature is, that's not what they're going to think. They're going to think, well, our God wasn't powerful enough to protect us, so it's not my fault. Our God sucks, right? That's kind of what they might be thinking. But here comes God in a foreign land, something that a God is not really supposed to do. But the way he comes in with this entourage of other deities, because the way these cherubs look, they look very similar to the gods that were within this neighboring empire. But they're the ones that's holding the platform where God is on his throne. So it's a serious shot at everybody. It's like, I am Yahweh.
It's like, here, carry this.
Basically, hold this for me, So these are his, so they're serving Yahweh. These other gods are serving Yahweh, right? So that's the point. It's like, no, it wasn't that I wasn't strong enough. It's that you rebelled. And I told you, if you rebel, I'm going to allow other nations to come and take you. Henceforth, your present situation. But I'm Yahweh. I can go wherever I please, and these guys are nothing. So don't even think I lost or I was beaten. Like, no, you rebelled. I allowed this to happen because I'm Yahweh. I'm sovereign.
Right. And to understand, everybody, the idea of I can go wherever I want, as you look at Ezekiel 1, for example, jump over to verse 17. When they went in any of their four directions without turning as they went. So if you see that, the idea is anywhere, anytime, any place. Plus you got all the eyes. So there's an awareness of what's happening anywhere, anytime, any place. So this is all symbolic of the omnipresence and indeed omniscience of Yahweh. And when you look at that, because the four directions, I don't think we said it, that's understood to be as the four cardinal directions, right? North side, east side, south side, west side. Which side is the best side? I go with the south side. That's where I'm from originally. Yeah. But so that's the idea with that there. And people try to ignore all that and instead say, this is a UFO or an ancient flying craft. Now, I don't know if you want to get into that yet.
Yeah, I'm about to, but here's my critique,
yeah,
right, of people who have this interpretation. Doesn't this preach better? Right? Even if you come from a Hebrew Israelite perspective, whether you're one Wester or moderate or whatever in between, this is powerful stuff because this is the God of Israel we're talking about, right? This is Yahweh, showboating, showing that he's the boss. He is king. He is sovereign. I come and go as I please. And these other deities that you thought defeated me, they get to hold my platform. That's powerful stuff. Like, I don't know why they won't preach that, because that goes very much with a lot of their theology, that it's all about Yahweh, the God of Israel.
Well, isn't it the case, is what it seems like to me, is that a lot of people, right, who utilize this Ezekiel 1 to say Ezekiel saw an ancient flying craft, I don't see them all as Bible believers. I know there's some, and so we've got some GMS folks that would say we believe in the Bible and we think that's what it is. But if you watch these pseudo documentaries and listen to a lot of these folks who claim some kind of expertise in this, right, that's the way they utilize it. And so that appeal is certainly right, Alfredo. And also, notice how practical it is. God is with us wherever we go, even if our society is being judged. And how practical is that in 2020, right? And that the Lord is with the oppressed, and that he sees them, and that he's not limited to Israel. Very, very important. It even takes away a little bit of the Israel-centric aspect to some current cults today. All this, very, very important. Now, with that being said, let me show everybody a little clip here. This is going to take a second to set up from Chariots of the Gods. Let me real quick read it, and then I'm going to show it here. So this is in a book, Debunking It. It's an old school book called Crash Go the Chariots. And there's a thing that came out, I think in 1970, called Chariots of the Gods. And this is a biblical scholar who refuted it, Clifford Wilson. And I'm just going to read this section, and then I'm going to bring it up, and I'll let you comment on it. This is relevant because this has influenced a lot that's come after since that generation, and sometimes people don't even realize it. Page 59, Ezekiel's space vehicle. According to von Daniken, the vehicle that Ezekiel saw was a space chariot, and the gods took him with them in their vehicle. But Ezekiel could not have been in touch with an almighty God, according to von Daniken, for this, quote, kind of locomotion seems to me to be quite incompatible with the idea of an almighty God, end quote. But again, if we take the Bible record at face value, we do not find the problem insuperable after all. In the very first verse of this prophecy, Ezekiel says that he saw visions from God. Visions are not necessarily literal phenomena, and in fact, the descriptions that follow cannot all be taken literally in our physical sense. Ezekiel clearly shows that the vehicle moves in all directions at once. That's verse 17. That's physically impossible for something physically to do, is the point he's making there. And instead of this being one of von Daniken's space chariots, it is in fact a symbolic presentation telling us that he is in touch with the transcendent one who is not limited by space or gravity. He was not confined to a space chariot, but was in fact above it. Look at verse 25 of chapter 1 there. Ezekiel's prophecy includes a considerable amount of symbolic teaching, and even Ezekiel himself is told that he personally is a living symbol in Ezekiel 12:11. He is a living symbol of the fact that the people are to go into exile, prophecy which was literally fulfilled. In view of the clear statements as to the symbolic elements and visionary method of this prophecy, there's little point in further following the outlandish interpretations given in Chariots as to the experiences of Ezekiel. Von Daniken's Ezekiel chariot crashes in the mists of a visionary hypothesis. Now I'm going to bring up a clip from that movie. You want to comment on that, my man, while I bring that up, if you could?
Oh, sure. I mean, but again, right, Ezekiel, he's not grasping at straws in describing what he saw. He saw it clearly.
In the midst of the fire, as it were, gleaming bright.
Yeah, what you're gonna see here in a second, though, you're gonna see him try to. Okay, I think this is it right here. Hold on, let me go back. You're gonna see I think he makes a little drawing here. This is the chariot of the. This is Chariots of the Gods, the movie, by the way, everybody. In case you're one of them.
I think they're saying I'm muted. Okay.
Yeah, I fixed that. I saw it when I flipped over the video. It wanted to automatically mute you. It did auto. My bad. You're gonna see here that he's gonna try to make a comparison, but I believe he brings in the lunar module. And the reason why I bring that up is the lunar module was not capable of interstellar flight. And so, again, why we're showing this because von Daniken and Chariots of the Gods has influenced a lot that's come after. So we're going to the source of this, and a lot of the interpretations there are bad after this as well. So here I'm going to bring the volume up to this. Let's play this. This is from 1970. This is the actual documentary. You can watch on Amazon Prime today.
Gleaming bronze. And from the midst of it came the likeness of living creatures.
So there he's trying to say that the ark
of men, but each had four faces,
ark
and each of them had four wings.
is all about that as well.
As for the likeness of their faces, each had the face of a man in front, a lion on the right, an ox on the left, and an eagle at the back.
Would Ezekiel have described the landing of visitors from space in very different terms?
Now as I looked, I saw a wheel upon the earth beside the living creatures, one for each of them. It was like the gleaming of a chrysolite, their construction being, as it were, a wheel within a wheel. When they went in any of their four directions without turning as they went. The four wheels had rims, and they had spokes, and their rims were full of eyes round about.
Were these the engines of a spaceship?
And when they went, I heard the sound of their wings like the thunder of the Almighty, a sound of tumult, like the sound of a host.
The prophet had witnessed a dazzling sight. How closely it resembles the launching of a multi-stage rocket, even to the scream of its engines at blast.
Did you hear that? How closely it resembles the launching of a multi-stage rocket, including the scream of its engines. So they're trying to say this is like a multi-stage rocket being described, okay? So this is super technology, basically, right? Right. And then it says the sound is the scream of the engines. I'm going to play this a little bit more, but I just want you guys to see how bizarre this is. Now, a lot of this has come after this is simply an updated version of this thesis. You must understand that. Here we go.
These pictures speak for themselves.
So they're trying to say when old illustrated Bibles would illustrate this portion, they're trying to say that they already were drawing things resembling the supposed alien spacecraft. That's what they're trying to say here. Here we go.
Early biblical illustrators represented the angels of promise, a creature with metal legs and landing discs. Doesn't that look familiar? Look carefully at the right side of this picture.
Okay, that's the lunar module. The lunar module is not capable of interstellar flight. That's not what the lunar module is designed for. You just need to pay attention to sort of these tricks. And notice he called it landing disc or whatever he said, landing platforms. That's their description to try to make you think this. But if you don't know the scripture, you're not familiar with the original symbology, you could be caught up by these fantastical interpretations, but that's simply not what it's saying. That's the main part I wanted to show for that. That's a whole hour and a half movie. That's the main part I wanted to show from Chariots of the Gods, though. Alfredo, flipping over to you.
All right. So, as VOCAB said, we're looking at the origins of this particular interpretation, which might be surprising for the many religious sects that have this interpretation. It doesn't originally come from you. It comes from basically a pseudo-white scholar, allegedly.
Who claimed to know the languages relevant and clearly did not know them.
Right. So it looks bad. But it's not. But again, it's not just the Hebrews, as we're going to look at right now. So, VOCAB, if you can
go back to the share screen.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm flipping over back to share screen.
And it's not, again, let me put the caveat, not all Hebrews have this interpretation, right? It's not all of you. So
but apparently a lot of the ones in the live chat do. All right, so.
So here's one of those famous books, right? Is this the actual book you're talking about?
No, this is
another one.
This
right?
is a book about the book. Are the
Right,
von
right.
Daniken theories really true? Was Earth once visited from outer space as alien beings walk our planet? A major NASA engineer reveals some astonishing facts. And that's a thing, though. Guys, you need to understand, you can have a NASA engineer, all right, and they can comment on this. But ladies and gentlemen, you may be smart if you worked for NASA, but it doesn't mean you know how to interpret the Bible. I'm just saying.
Right. It's a different skill set.
Yep.
It's a different skill set.
There's
And
some more
here's
UFOs
other
got
books.
yeah. Spirituality, engineering, religious journey.
Right. So this is a very popular interpretation. But the original interpretation comes, what, 60s? Early 70s?
Yeah, the documentary came out in the 1970, and I believe the joint before that,
Right.
the book was like in the 60s, yeah.
All right, so, yeah, next.
All right, next slide.
Now, this is
this is GMS art right here.
Right. So you see and they take from Independence Day. That's the Independence Day, one of the ships that lands in the different capitals of the world.
So they're literally photoshopping images from Independence Day into their religious iconography.
Right. Right. And everybody got a sword, and everybody's floating. And that guy there looks like Tahar, actually. He's grabbing a white guy.
Yeah,
Right.
Whenever I do a presentation and I use this particular image, I always call him Little Timmy. He grabbed Little Timmy by the throat, man. Little Timmy thought he was down, man. They got Little Timmy real bad. Yeah, they got these bloody swords which are way larger than their bodies, along with their fists. They're all
It's like
large.
anime. It's like anime.
Yeah. Here, let me zoom in on one of these joints, Alfredo. I'm gonna zoom in. On this dude. Look at this dude. Check it out with the.
You got the severed head.
Yeah, you got the severed head. I mean, it's funny. And GMS is like, we don't teach violence. We don't teach violence, man. He don't teach violence. He got bloody swords and severed heads. Like, I mean, come on, man. We don't teach violence. I mean, what is that, bro? You know. Okay. So yeah. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. But go ahead.
All right, next one.
All right. Boom. Yup.
So here we have Yahushua. He also has a bloody sword.
Yeah, Yahushua, the 30-year-old man who's all gray. You know what I'm saying? He's 30 years old, man. He's buff, but he's gray as could be.
With laser eyes.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what they really believe. They're gonna be, like Christopher Reeve out here zapping people up.
Right. So here's Jesus on the cross, but even behind the most monumental event in the Bible, what we have behind it, UFOs.
Yeah, you guys see that? You guys see the UFO in the background? And it says Chariot in the background.
Just so you don't be misconstrued with what this is, right? It's a chariot, right? Yeah.
I've actually haven't seen this one. I'm just, why is the chariot back there? What is he? I'm trying to figure out why he's showing up. Here.
Well, I mean, this is a major event. This is they wouldn't. Well, a lot of them don't teach this as a major event, so that is interesting.
I don't know. All right. Now, see, it's not just GMS. Here's IUIC. The rapture is only for the Israelites.
But whoever is in that graphics department, though, they know what they're doing. They have a great graphics department.
He's got the shofar. He's all. And then
that looks it looks dope, right? It looks
aliens.
dope. If it was true, it looks super dope.
And then the alien comes down and they're like, "Take me to your leader." And then the IUIC guy, he's all like, "You mean Nathaniel?" Sure, I'll go get him.
Next one.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite, man. You got the old.
This old school.
Yeah,
this old school right here. All right, so it looks like something out of like, Funkadelic All Stars. You know what I mean? It's like, and everybody's catching it, right? Caesar, the devil, white Jesus, the Pope, Hasidic Jew, Mr. Blonde evangelical. Like everybody's catching.
I thought that was young. I thought that was young Donald Trump. I thought that was young Trump down there.
Hey, you never know. I mean, this is New York City.
You got young Trump behind the Hasidic Jew, the Pope, right next to a white Jesus with the Sacred Heart on his little pajamas. You got Red Satan doing the dab. You know what I'm saying? You got Caesar over there.
Right. So everybody's catching it.
And then you have the Hebrew Israelites. Oh yeah, I guess that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks like it's the 12 tribes as well as Yahushai. Let me see. Yeah, because you can tell who they're trying to make Gad. See the guy with the headdress? That's supposed to be Gad. And that looks like it's the 12 tribes.
Well, there's a headdress and the other side too.
Headdress.
So, I don't know.
Well, remember there's Reuben too. Remember they got Native Americans split out.
Right.
They said it might be. It looks like that's.
There's a dude. I didn't notice. There's a dude with cornrows.
Yep.
In the back.
That's
Yeah.
probably like.
That's Ephraim.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's your peoples, man.
That's my people.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so you got 12 plus Yahushai. Oh, yeah, and Yahushai, man, he's straight up zapping white Jesus, too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right, next one.
Yeah. Oh, that's updated version. Okay.
That's the updated. It's the remix.
Hold on. Let me try to remix.
You got the guy with the Indian headdress in the back.
Yeah. Oh shoot, man! This dude got a sword with a head on the sword. Man, some of these ones look kind of light skinned. This look like SNES or Sega Genesis graphics or something like that. It's like right from after that era, right? You got the statue
of Liberty,
Liberty's down there. Hey, bro, I'm pretty sure that's Jim Caviezel's head. I bet you don't that look like Jim Caviezel down there? They got
a little bit. Yeah.
Bro, I bet you it is, bro.
All right, next.
This is all right.
Now they actually used this twice. They used it for this one, and then there's another one right after this. They used the same figure, but it's different background. Boom.
Yeah.
Right. Got the scimitar. Right. Got the. Yeah. It's. I forgot which spaceship is that. Oh, that's Close Encounters.
If I had to guess, I would say Close Encounters, but I don't.
Right.
know.
That's Close Encounters.
If I had to guess.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Anybody in the chat, if they know what that is, put in the chat. I think that's Close Encounters. Absolutely.
And so you see a preoccupation with One West Hebrew Israelism going back to the old school with UFOs, which they say are IFOs. Everyone understand that, identified flying objects. And these are like, whenever they're spotted or seen on the earth, it's like the black angels who man the spaceships are sort of scouting the territory. They're kind of letting you know, hey, we're here, and we're getting ready to rock this place. And so the reason why I started getting in some of this is because you had your guy, Prophet Yahweh, sort of take this a next step further, whereas he's still self-identified as a Hebrew Israelite. And I did a show on him. Somebody put that link there. And he was saying, they're here right now. I just need to pray so they will reveal themselves. And so that's a theory that they're not from another like galaxy or planet. That's a theory that simply these IFOs are actually from simply more along the lines of another dimension. And they have the ability to unmask themselves or perhaps step through a portal. He never necessarily explained all that, and show up. And his claim to fame was a master UFO summoner. And he's not the only kind of person who says they can do that kind of thing and all that. And so we're showing sort of this bizarre preoccupation with UFOs, which they say are IFOs. And what they do is they'll even say that sometimes they show up basically as a cosmic attaboy in the sky, meaning maybe after a particularly arduous day at camp, and they're out there, and it's the night, and they'll see some lights in the sky, and they'll say, the chariots, the chariots, the chariots. And how do I know? Because this happened when I visited them in Harlem, out at Morningside Park. After we left, G-Man was there and recorded them flipping out, utterly euphoric. And this is the main GMS camp, saying they saw the chariots, and they viewed it as a sort of a sign of a job well done, letting them know, hey, we're about to come back. But remember, they prophesied this was going to happen in 2000. Of course, it didn't. So there's some background when it comes to the One West Hebrew Israelites. But we reiterate, there's all kinds of UFO cults and UFO religions out there, and it seems like they're growing by the day.
Yeah. All right. Next.
All right. Oh, man, it's expanding it, bro. Who is he shooting there? Is that looks like Black Panther or something? Who?
Oh, man, is that? I don't know.
I don't think it is, but I'm saying, like,
at first glance,
maybe what they're saying is by the time this battle goes down, the governments of the world, in order to fight them, will have like this technology similar to like a flying Iron Man. Because otherwise, why would you have him black? My guess is like it's their way to say even the best technology that they will offer will be nothing compared to them, or something like that. You know.
Now, is there any way they can try to eisegete a scripture to prove laser eyes?
Well,
is there a precept?
I think
that they use?
Maybe the red eyes that Yahushua is said to have in Revelation. Now, I know usually they say it's because he's been drinking, but that might be a symbol of that. But there are some spots where you see some of this, and I've heard them, but I don't remember where off the top of my head. But yes, there's places where they draw this idea from of heat waves, or essentially laser beams from the eyes and from the chariots themselves. So there'd be multiple sort of places this is happening from. You know, kind of like if you ever watch Mars Attacks, Mars Attacks, that's how the aliens talked on Mars Attacks. They had weapons on their ships, but they also came out with weapons. And so I think it's idea like there'll be laser beams from the eyes as well as from the chariot ships themselves.
Okay, cool. Yeah, next. So so this is more of a modern version of those other pictures. Yeah. Somebody decided to,
Man, you found some I've never seen before, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on here. So,
Jeez, how many of these are there?
Here's IUIC again with the chariots. And now, is that also Independence Day? Or that's I don't even know. Something, what's that movie?
Chariots of the Lord are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Psalm 68:17.
It's something 9. Not Deep Space Nine. That's Star Trek. But there was District 9. It's either District 9 or it was an attack on what was that? It was attack on it was an alien attack, but it was in the West Coast.
I don't know. A Battlefield Los Angeles, Attack on Titan.
Yeah, the Battle of Los Angeles. It could be that one too.
Oh, you about to flip over to NOI? Is that
yes, sir.
All right, hold up. Before you do that, let me flip back and make a little sound. So, live chat, what do you guys think of this? So, what we're trying to do is this, live chat, and everybody watching here and in the future. So, we're starting off the program. To reiterate, what we did is we started off the show looking at Ezekiel 1. And we could even go back and look at more symbolism there. We could go back and look at it. In fact, I have a Heiser clip I'd like to play before we get out of here about that. It's only 3 minutes. Sure. And looking at what Ezekiel 1 means in its essence. We could go way deeper in that. You could do multiple things just on Ezekiel 1. But understanding that as a baseline, then going forward and saying, okay, now what do some interpreters do? We brought up von Daniken, Chariots of the Gods. That's not clearly a Hebrew Israelite thing, but that's the source of a lot of this bad interpretation, especially when it comes to Ezekiel 1. So we look at that. I shared from the book Crash Go the Chariots. Then flipping over, into Hebrew Israelites. Mainly, we grabbed iconography, because that's exactly what this is. It's religious iconography that we've been showing, that Alfredo grabbed. What we did there is showed it from mainly GMS and IUIC, both of whom are One West camps. Now, with all that being said, it's interesting. I look over in the live chat, and where did it go? Somebody said, this is sad. It's like Scientology with Xenu. I lost the comment, though, but shout out to you in the live chat who brought, oh, yeah, Warrior Woman. This is as bad as Scientology and Xenu. Yeah, yeah. So with that, that actually leads us right into our next place we're going to go, which is we're going to go to look at some stuff by the Nation of Islam and Fararrkhan, because they also have ufology type elements in their belief system. And they also will do things like based upon Ezekiel and other things, right? And they have their own version of this stuff. And so Alfredo has some slides he's put together, but I also have a clip I want to play. It's only about a minute. Let me flip over and play this clip. I probably might play this clip twice, but this is Louis Fararrkhan, just I think on July 4th. So this is barely like a week old. Let me play this here.
You see that wheel? That's from a giant mechanical object, which is the mind of Master Fard Muhammad, yes, who is the master of the wheels. Yes, sir. He helped to make me. Go ahead, man. Yes, sir. You can take it or let it alone. That's right. Taking it. He made my father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. You thought you killed Elijah. Come on. I don't represent no dead Elijah Muhammad. That's right. I represent a living Elijah Muhammad who is on the wheel. And I had the two pictures floating around on the airplane. That's right. To let you see who's the master of this day that we're in.
Now, I'm going to play that again, but just so everyone understands, he is saying, hey, you've got these UFOs, which are chariots, and they have a situation in theirs they refer to the mothership, right? And so at this worldwide address here that he's given, right, Louis Fararrkhan, he is saying Elijah Muhammad is piloting a spaceship. Again, this is July 4th, 2020. This part of the speech. Okay, does everyone understand? He's saying Elijah Muhammad, who is the successor to Fard Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad mentored both Malcolm X and Louis Fararrkhan. He's saying he is piloting the mothership because he's alive and he's piloting it. Okay, I just want everyone to... Now, I have a few questions about that. One is, how did a man trained in agriculture from the South learn to fly spaceships? I want to know when Elijah Muhammad got his pilot's license. My guess is he learned that skill in the afterlife, much like, according to Revenge of the Sith, Qui-Gon Jinn learned how to communicate through the Force after he was already deceased, after Darth Maul killed him at Phantom Menace, because Yoda told that to Obi-Wan, if you guys remember properly. My guess is Elijah Muhammad picked up the skill about how to fly spaceships in the post-mortem state. So I'm going to play that clip again. Alfredo, do you have any comments on that? We are going to show your slides, too.
Right. No, I'm good. Yeah, man. Get busy.
I mean, this is kind of epic, man, bro. But it's also sad, but it's also funny. But you hear him describing Elijah Muhammad in terms of deity.
Right.
So you guys got to understand this. These UFO elements in various religions, we're just scratching the surface. We're dealing with sort of the urban apologetic issue. They sometimes use Ezekiel 1 as a point in their argument or as a jumping off point, but then they go all kinds of places because they claim to have special revelation and things like that. So they're not really bound by the text of Scripture. But for the Christian, we need to be bound by it and ask ourselves, what was Ezekiel really saying? What was Daniel really saying? What was John really saying? What were they not saying? What was really happening with Enoch and Elijah? What is not happening? So one more time, this a minute clip, let me play.
You see that wheel? That's from a giant mechanical object, which is the mind of Master Fard Muhammad, who is...
Why is he rolling his R's now, by the way? He didn't used to do that. I don't know, it's like a new thing. Muhammad is now, Louis Fararrkhan is now starting to roll his R's. Anyways, interesting.
You see that wheel? That's from a giant mechanical object, which is the mind of Master Fard Muhammad, who is the master of the wheels. He helped to make me.
Go ahead, brother. Yes, sir.
You can take it or let it alone.
I'll let it alone, brother.
He made my father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
You thought you killed Elijah. I don't represent no dead Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
I represent a living Elijah Muhammad who is on the wheel. And I had the two pictures floating around on the airplane.
That's right.
To let you see who's the master of this day that we're in.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Miss Titus 2 said he wants to roll those R's in honor of Elijah Muhammad rolling that wheel. All right, so Alfredo, you want to flip over to... Man, this is sad, though, man. I mean, seriously, jeez, it's sad, though. All right, I'm going to flip over to...
I mean, but it also goes against classical Islam as well. It's like, you know, I thought Allah was the one who made us. You know what I mean? It's like he's giving that to this dude. I'm like... But anyway, this is from, you know, the quintessential Nation of Islam text outside of the Quran. Message to the black man. And it says here, the vision of Ezekiel's will in a will in the sky is true if carefully understood. There is a similar will in the sky today, which very well answers the description of Ezekiel's vision. This will corresponds in a way with the sphere of spheres called the universe. Interesting. The maker of the universe is Allah, God, the father of the black nation, which includes the brown, yellow, and red people. Wow, I just made it. That's great. Maybe I should not say the will is similar to Ezekiel's vision of it will, but that Ezekiel's vision has become a reality. So Ezekiel was just foreshadowing the truthfulness that is this vehicle that Elijah Muhammad gets to captain, I guess.
Oh man. Yeah, he's but at least he's maybe recognizing that you can't really say it's too similar to Ezekiel's vision. Maybe, I mean, I guess that's a step up, perhaps.
I mean, he's given a little space for himself to cover himself, but it's still not, you know, helping.
All right, next slide.
According to Elijah Muhammad's earliest writings, he said, quote, Master Farad or Fararrkhan Muhammad come to us from the holy city of Mecca in Arabia. He pointed out to me a dreadful looking plane, a half a mile by a half a mile. It was made after the universe of spheres, wheels within wheels. Although many had mocked and ridiculed this teaching, in America today, many are bearing witness to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us. So I'm assuming multiple people have seen this will.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, a lot of them look at any kind of reported alien, you know, sighting and stuff as like evidence to that.
Right.
You know, I guess. All right, let's see. Next slide here. Okay.
And I'm not going to read it, but this is from the Final Call.
That's their newspaper they sell out on the corner.
Exactly. In September 17th, a divine sign of Minister Fararrkhan's position. And if you look at the picture they're using of a UFO with a tractor beam, you know, Fararrkhan didn't mention that the wheel has a tractor beam, but I guess it does because we see the picture right here. So, but yeah.
Hold on. I do want to actually read the little part that's just on the screen. Yo, check this out. September 7th, the divine sign of Mr. Fararrkhan's position. Unlike any national or world leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Fararrkhan is quite distinguished in that he is virtually the only voice who has publicly and consistently expressed his connection experience with so-called UFOs. By the way, you can look it up. It's kind of bizarre. Jimmy Carter, who was president of the United States of America, I believe from 1976 to 1980, Jimmy Carter claimed to see a UFO. Just to let y'all know. So, I mean, you know, that's a world leader. The blessed,
you know what's interesting?
Oh, go ahead. What
you just said, too, I didn't peep that. So he's the only one that's consistently talking about UFOs. Yeah. That's the claim he's making. Yeah. So the Hebrews and everybody else doesn't, like, he's laying claim to this?
Or, you know, the Raëlians, a very interesting cult. Of course, the Hale Bop folks, their whole thing was UFOs. You know, they're dead now. They sadly committed suicide in California, I believe outside of San Diego. So, like, you know, I don't know what. I mean, I think there's more and more people who talk about this, but whatever. The blessed night of Minister Fararrkhan's famous vision-like experience occurred on September 17th, 1985, in Tepoztlan, Mexico, from a mountain that he had climbed many times throughout his visits there. Both the time and location of this experience hold divine significance. So he's claiming to have sort of looks like an Ezekiel-like experience of a UFO or something. We had to look at this sometime.
The mountain, right? Mountaintop experience, right? That's
yeah.
Right, so. One of the most mind-boggling factors associated with Minister Fararrkhan's vision from Tepoztlan has to do with the biblical calculations that signify its authenticity. Before modern Bible scholars were able to pinpoint the dates and times of biblical events, Minister Fararrkhan had been proclaiming the majesty of the vision-like experience which occurred September 17th, 1985. One of the scriptures forecasting this vision-like experience occurs in the 8th chapter of Ezekiel. The prophet Ezekiel, who is most commonly associated with these flying wheels, was given a vision that read in traditional Bible in this manner. And I think that's it for that article. I just want to share that.
By the way, looks like there's some people in the live chat who either need to be timed out or blocked. Go ahead and take care of those folks. I see we got the live chat mod squad in the house. Oh, there's Raëlian's leader. Okay, you can go ahead and talk about Raël.
Yes, sir. Okay. Raël, then known as Claude, I can't see it in my picture.
Fararrkhan. I believe he's a Frenchman, I believe.
Worked as sports car journalist and test driver for his own car racing magazine, Autopop. Following a purported extraterrestrial encounter in December 1973, hey, that's not too far from Fararrkhan's vision, right? Yeah. His was 85, right? Yeah. He formed the Raëlian movement and changed his name to Raël, meaning messenger of the Elohim. He later published several books which detailed the encounter with a being called Yahweh in 1907. I forgot
sometime in the 70s.
Right. Now look what he's wearing too, though. Go back for a minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look somewhat familiar?
He's got a tweaked Star of David as well.
Right.
Tweaked Star of David.
His garb is very one Westerish.
Take me to your leader.
Right. So and here's the actual medallion, the symbol. So it
has a swastika in the middle of the Star of David.
Right. I don't know, man.
Raël's sense of mission is reinforced in multiple ways. You want to read it?
Sure. Multiple ways over the course of the 6 days of instruction by the Eloha. As he develops his interpretation of the biblical story, the Eloha reminds Fararrkhan that humanity stands at a turning point and that the return of the Elohim is an imminent possibility. An imminent possibility? That's kind of... Anyway. And that he is the one who will spread the truth throughout the world. But the clearest description of Raël as a present-day prophet comes during an extended discussion of the biblical book of Ezekiel.
Loves Ezekiel.
After offering a detailed commentary on how Ezekiel's vision in Ezekiel 1 gives ample evidence that he had actually seen one of the creator's flying machines, the Eloha focuses on the incident in which Ezekiel was given a scroll covered with writing on the inside and outside to eat. The Eloha offers this interpretation to his pupil, then the scroll is eaten. This means that Ezekiel absorbed its meaning. What he learned is what you are learning now about humanity's origins. The last sentence makes Fararrkhan into a new Ezekiel. Like the Israelite prophet, he has the privilege of receiving special knowledge about the nature of the creators and the nature of the potential destiny of human beings.
Well, they love trying to do some freaking Ezekiel reinterpretation. So we're gonna know our Bibles. Oh, there you got our friend Von Daniken.
Yeah. Swiss author of several books which makes claims about extraterrestrial influences on early human culture, including the best-selling Chariots of the Gods, published in 1968. Van Daniken is one of the main figures responsible for popularizing the, quote, paleo contact, unquote, and ancient astronauts hypothesis. And you know what? As a side thing, man, the History Channel. I hate the History Channel.
It's
not
no longer the History Channel. Yeah, it's the Mystery Channel.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, change your name. If you're gonna do all that, change your name. But that's a side thing. That's my little pet peeve.
They realized they wanted to get eyeballs, and I don't mean the eyeballs of Ezekiel. They wanted eyeballs more than anything else, and so they just have left all semblance of being the History Channel.
Right. When Daniken attended a Catholic boarding school in his childhood, he had to translate biblical texts. He frequently referred to this as an important trigger in the development of his theory. God in the Old Testament did not seem to know everything and used some kind of chariot as means of transport. Obviously, this had to be somebody different from the omniscient, omnipotent God Daniken believes in. Ancient astronauts were his answer to this incongruity, and henceforth, I can't see the rest.
They constitute.
I just
flipped it over.
The interpretive frame of every myth in which the gods did not live up to Daniken's theological ideals. He wants to correct his central misconception of the religious traditions of the world. His mission, in a sense, educational and reformative, and reminds one of the goals of the Enlightenment. But Daniken insists on a materialist reading of Scripture and scorns psychological or symbolic interpretations. He explains strange and powerful objects in the text as misunderstood technology. The Ark of the Covenant, the chariot described by Ezekiel, and the devastation of Sodom and Gomorrah all feature as examples of advanced technology in our past. This is from Traces of the Gods, Ancient Astronauts as a Vision of Our Future by Jonas Richter.
Hold on, I think it's time to break it up a little bit.
Sure.
I've got this. We've got a sighting. We've got a sighting over here. Where is it? Oh, it's about 38215. I'm just working on my special effects. Sorry, I don't know. Let me try one. We've got a sighting. Oh man. Anyways, I'm working on special effects. I want to try to sneak that in every now and then. But now, who are you showing? So we've only got a couple more slides, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna flip. I think this is the last group we're gonna discuss today. Who is it, Alfredo?
These are the Nuwaubians, and their leader, Malachi Z. York, or the El Mahdi, or Yan. Like he goes through so many different names and so many different stages. But they also are very much into UFOology. So in here, he's using Stargate, right? He's actually using Stargate.
Yeah, and if you guys remember Stargate, part of the idea there was that folks came through a Stargate, aliens, to Earth a long time ago, and in some way, because there's different versions of this, helped the Egyptian to build the pyramids and do other things. And you see that in Stargate. And you see that in a variety of places. In fact, Chariots of the Gods, the book and the documentary, basically give credit for the wonders of ancient Egypt, such as the pyramids, to ancient aliens. And then, interestingly enough, you have a lot of folks, like, say, in the Kemetic community, who view this as another white supremacist technique to try to take credit away from the black man for a powerful invention there. And so,
well, they actually split with that in the community, because there's a faction that believes in the ancient alien theory, But then there's another faction that feel disrespected by that theory. You know, so there's two factions within the community when it comes to that.
125th Street, we've got a problem. 125th Street, we have a problem. Look at the monolith. It's coming straight from the monolith. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so we got a shout out for the super chat there. Shout out to the super chat from Marilyn Murphy. Thank you, Marilyn Murphy. All right, so you want to read about a master teacher who appeared in 1970 as our savior to break the spell, who's also known as Melchizedek. Okay, go ahead, break it down, bro.
And this is one of his many books that he allegedly written, because he's written over 1,000
For
books.
example, Extraterrestrials and Creation, which is on the screen, scroll 136, study book 7, Supreme Mathematics, Oraso, Nibiru, and the Anunnaki Fact or Fiction. There's a cover of a few of his books.
Actually, that's what I'm going. That's exactly what I'll. No, is that the book I'm quoting? Go back. Go back to my slide.
Yeah, that is what you're quoting. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So, also according to the Hebrew Israelites, Moses was allowed to see Yahweh's glory. Yahweh flies through the heavens in a mother planet that defies imagination. Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind in 2 Kings 2:11-12. They say the chariot of fire was a UFO, and Ezekiel gives a perfect description of round flying machines. So here's one cult quoting another cult, right, about a cult, ancient aliens. So I thought that was interesting. So they're stacking. Oh,
man, yeah.
It's obvious that they don't know what the books on Daniel, Ezekiel, Joel, and Revelation are about. You have people of various religions, denominations, such as the Jews, who do everything in their power to avoid explaining Ezekiel's will. They will never tell you that the will within a will is an actual craft. In Ezekiel 42, verses 3 and 5, it describes the New Jerusalem that's also talked about in Revelation 21:10 and 15:17.
Take me to your leader. Yeah, so now
I want you to know the truth, son.
Yeah. What I want to do here is play, and shout out to Warrior Woman for the super chat. Shout out to you very much. Thank you. What I want to do here is play a clip from Heiser. It's only 3 minutes long to kind of go back to it here and to kind of make sure we understand what Ezekiel is about. There's a 3-minute clip that I found helpful. Heiser on Ezekiel's wheel. So check this out. Right here.
Well, when it comes to the book of Ezekiel, I get the question about its vocabulary a lot, because most people assume that you go to Ezekiel 1, you have an ancient spaceship there. And it's sort of prime fodder for ancient alien material. The problem is a lot of people don't even read it closely. For instance, if you actually look at the Ezekiel account, Ezekiel chapter 1, and a lot of it's repeated in chapter 10. For instance, the only thing that's round in the chapter are the wheels supporting the rachiach, the platform or the expanse, atop of which Yahweh, the God of Israel, is seated. There's nothing else round. And the reason that's significant is because you look at some of these ancient alien descriptions about Ezekiel chapter 1, and they have the expanse on which Yahweh is sitting as a UFO, as though he's piloting some sort of alien craft. But if you actually read the text, the platform, the expanse, is not round. It's never described that way. The other thing about the vocabulary is Hebrew has a lot of words for round objects, other than the word for wheel. I've already said that the word wheel is in there, the 4 wheels and all that sort of thing. But it has a lot of vocabulary for things that are round. Kikar, shelet, yagil. There are 5 or 6 or 7 different Hebrew words that are scattered throughout the Hebrew Bible for round things, shields, loaves of bread, that sort of thing. None of them are found in Ezekiel 1, not a single one. So the only thing that's round when you get to Ezekiel 1 are the wheels supporting the platform. But Yahweh is not riding around in a spaceship. The wheels, we know what that is. We know what each of them are. We know why that description is what it is, because we have iconography from the Babylonian period. Remember, Ezekiel is writing as a captive in Babylon. We have iconography from Babylonian period, earlier Assyrian periods, Phoenician material. It's a cherubim throne. It's a throne. It's a seat. It's a chair, as it were, mounted atop cherubim. And in some cases, those cherubim had wheels because the gods were pictured, and the God of Israel is often pictured in the Hebrew Bible as riding around the sky, traversing the heavens on the clouds. And so the mode of transportation other than boats in the ancient world were chariots and chariot thrones. So these are all very normal descriptions, but other than the wheels themselves, the expanse that people think is a UFO is never described as being round. It's a chariot. It's a throne chariot. And it's very easy to spot and know what Ezekiel's talking about if you're familiar with the ancient Near Eastern material.
I found that helpful. And one other thing that I've heard Heiser bring out, for example, I'm going to read from the text here of Ezekiel. Just want to show you one other thing why this Ezekiel passage should not be used in the way it's commonly used. Here I am in Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, like the appearance of torches moving to and fro among the living creatures. So sometimes they'll have these creatures and they'll say it's aliens, but then they basically appear to, people try to basically make them have them be like piloting these ships or being part and parcel to their locomotion. But I mean, sort of an odd thing, to think about. And here's what I want to focus on. And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, and the living creatures darted to and fro like the appearance of a flash of lightning. And sometimes they'll say, well, that fire, that lightning is representative of a combustion engine, which, like what's in our cars, miniature explosions to propel it, to give it motion. But just want to make the point, and I think people at NASA would know this, combustion engines do not enable you to travel interplanetary or interstellar. Okay, they're not equipped to do that. So when they talk about it like that way, understand, well, what could a combustion engine even do? And it's similar down here in verse 26 to 28. And above the expanse over their heads there was a likeness of a throne, an appearance like sapphire, and seated above the likeness of a throne was a likeness with a human appearance, and upward from what had appearance of his waist I saw, as it were, gleaming metal, like the appearance of fire, enclosed all around, and downward from what had the appearance of his waist I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire, and there was brightness around him, like the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud on the day of rain, so a rainbow. So was the appearance of the brightness all around. By the way, if you read this whole passage, you should be able to notice that John, the Revelator, utilizes some of the same symbolism when he describes Jesus in the beginning of the book of Revelation. The reason why that's important is because groups like the NOI and the Hebrew Israelites try to use that description of Jesus, which is certainly a heavenly visionary experience of the glory, power, majesty of a Jesus who is only to be identified as God, as Yahweh, right? And when you look at that, they try to misuse that passage as a description of his ethnic features. And I'll give you one because that's important when you read Revelation, right? People know sometimes the background of Daniel for Revelation, but they don't always know other passages like this. And I'm just going to read one here real quick. I'm going backwards in Ezekiel, and then the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to flip it over back to BK. Over the heads of the living creatures, this is verse 22, there was a likeness of an expanse shining like awe-inspiring crystal spread out above their heads, and under the expanse their wings were stretched out straight one toward another, and each creature had two wings covering its body, and when they went I heard the sound of their wings like the sound of many waters, like the sound of the Almighty, a sound of tumult like the sound of an army. When they stood still, they let down their wings, and there came a voice from above the expanse over their heads. When they stood still, they let down their wings. Notice, sound of many waters is like the sound of the Almighty, which is the sound of an army. In Revelation, Jesus describes having that voice. Hebrew Israelites will say that's the deep baritone voice of our people like Barry White and James Earl Jones. But if you look, they forget to leave out Mike Tyson, I guess, and Michael Jackson. But if you look at this, you see that that's not what it's about. This is a way that Jesus is clearly identified with who? Almighty, because he also has this voice like that's the sound of many waters. It's a powerful way to identify Jesus as Yahweh embodied, indeed who he is. So bring that out. That's important when you get to other places in the Bible as well, dealing with other issues. So I'm flipping back over to the screen where you can see us both as we give some further commentary on this, and maybe take a look at the live chat. BK Apologist, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's not struggling to describe what he sees. He's not confused. We are, because we're not from that time. And that's something that we all need to learn when it comes to our understanding of Scripture. We're reading a historical document, right? It's written in a language that most of us don't really know, in a script that most of us don't read, in a place that we've never been to. And even if you've been there, you wasn't there during that time, right? So there's so many obstacles for you to actually understand what's taking place. So you have to know the various contexts of that passage. You have to understand, the language that's being used. Is it being literal, or are they using slang? Because slang is not a modern day conception. They use slang too, different idioms. How is this particular word being used? Like, what's the politics of that day? Like, what's going on politically? Who's in charge? Who used to be in charge? All these things you need to have an understanding of, so that you can properly exegete any passage.
Facts. So, Barakathab Most High says, vocab brought the topic up. He shouldn't brought it up without talking about Exodus 13 and the many Psalms. Well, let me bring this back to you, Barakathab. If you notice, and I'm not trying to be funny here, I'm just trying to remind you of where we're at. The title of the show, literally, is Ezekiel 1, not a UFO. Meaning, it should be obvious to anyone who's able to read from the first sentence of today's show, it's going to focus on Ezekiel 1. So I hear you, but I'm not sure why you think you get to determine the direction of the show. We focused it on Ezekiel 1. We did touch on other passages. But, if we went there, why don't you show us what you're seeing? We could debunk that as well. In fact, I'm going to be doing the smoke room tomorrow. Bring that into the smoke room tomorrow and show me how you're going to say whatever it is. But Alfredo and I, just so you understand, Barakathah, believe Jesus Christ is coming back to judge in his return, in his second coming. So that's not really what's at issue here. What we're saying, though, is that these passages that you and other UFO cults use are not descriptions of flying spacecraft of any kind, whether mechanical, like the NOI says, or something more spiritual, like some other groups say. That's not what these passages are about. They're about other things. And it's clear from the text. And it's ironic that people who claim to be Hebraic and not Eurocentric utilize imagery from Hollywood to try to understand the Bible instead of images from the ancient Near East. And with that, I kind of put you in your place. And maybe you'll come back after doing a little more research. And hopefully we can have a better discussion, because you are utilizing Western media from the 20th and 21st century, whereas we're going back to ancient Near Eastern media from the contemporaries of Ezekiel's day. Let me ask you, which interpretation do you think is going to be right? I'll give you a hint. It's not yours. All right. So,
it's actually kind of insulting to a Hebrew, right? Because we hear so much talk about, well, we have to get back to our culture. Well, to get back to that culture, you have to understand that particular culture and how they saw and perceived things. For some reason, they don't want to do that. They claim the identity, but you don't seem to really claim the culture. And I think that's just sad,
And now tomorrow, I'm actually going to be on David Wood's channel, as the plan anyway, and we're going to discuss this broader issue of UFOs and religion. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff as well as some other stuff tomorrow on Act 17 Apologetics is the plan. I'll try to be sure to give you a shout out there, BK.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so that I might even ask if I can show some of your slides, since you got some pretty epic ones.
Feel free.
All right, yeah, thanks, man. But hey, yo, tell people how to find you, or any final words you want to give, man, before we close this joint out.
And I'm just glad that we're able to do this. Again, it's the ability to import your reading comprehension skills into your Bible. Because a lot of us have some sort of formal education, right? And we've learned context clues, you know, how to ask certain questions like who's talking, why's talk. Like we need to import what we already know what to do and how to do it in our Bible study. And I feel like if we do that, there'll be a lot less misinterpretation. I mean, there's some other things that's going on as well. But I feel like, you know, when it comes to actual reading, like many of us do have the skill to interpret properly. We just, for some reason, suspend it when it comes to the Bible. So.
Shout out, Super Chat. We got Jagged Little Red Pill. Thank you very much. And, hey, BK Apologist, since we're here, tell people how to get stuff like this.
Oh, well, of course, I actually just put the link. But, yeah, that's one of my shirts that I made. You know, I make urban apologetic inspired T-shirts. And as the one VOCAB is modeling, celebrity endorsement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So please feel free. We also sell masks. And for every mask that you buy, they actually will supply hospitals with a surgical mask as well.
Well, yeah, the Catholic Church, you sell masks? Oh, sorry.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Sorry. Yeah, shout out to you, man. You definitely hooked it up today. And with that, we're going to close this joint with a freestyle. All right, God bless you, man. Peace out. Much love. Shalom.
Take me to your leader. We're here to subjugate your planet, terraform it into another type planet because ours was destroyed. Terraforming again.
You have too much fun with that.
Puny humans. They squash just like the insects that they are.
Freestyle time, y'all. Yeah. It's a freestyle time. Yeah. It's a freestyle time. Yeah, yeah. It's a freestyle time. Yeah, yeah. Gotta make the volume right. Hold up, just right. Gotta make the volume right. Hold up, just right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yo, it's a sad need. Theology is very relevant. Paul off the beat for a second comeback. Shout out to BK with the black hat. Kango, now the beat is swole. Peep it out now, yeah, we got the flow. Not a UFO or an IFO. We need a hero like G.I. Joe. If you believe in Independence Day, hey, it's fiction. Hey, Yahweh, he can't call a UFO. Nah. Check it. We had to wreck all these whack theories. Hopefully, you can hear me clearly. VOCAB Malone, now I'm steering this show like I was cheering. Like I was Elijah Muhammad, driving it now. I got to be honest, promise is kinda wacky. Peep this out now, you kinda tacky with the theories of Ezekiel. You need to read your hermeneutics manual, hermeneutics. Read the Jewish way to interpret. We could do this. Oh, a real MC. Gotta read iconography from the A to E. That's the ancient Near East. Thank the Soko for the beat. Unleash the beast, cause the beat is dope. Peep this out. We read the quote from the Raëlians about the aliens. And now we are coming again with the one, the two to the three. Shout out to Sister Sleepy and Jude the Lion. I rhyme for Zion. I see you in the side chat. Yo, I am with the side eye. Now in the sky, see the light. What do I say? It's not an IFO or a UFO. It's just a wheel. Not a meme, bro. Hey, yo, some of y'all need to get wiser. Read a book or a clip from Heiser. Peace Geyser, alien as a demon, man, they scheming. What I'm believing, GMS. Nah, your stuff's a mess. I must confess, I try not to laugh. So here I go again with the rap. Yeah, might do one more. Here we come, we just scored. I implore, we explore. 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Yeah, shout out to Liza J for the super chat. And shout out to, Liza J gave like a couple. Okay. Yeah, it's a nice little beat right here. Turn it up just a little bit. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, y'all, it's time to rock. People walking the block with their mind open. Need to be locked. Not aliens, you're in for a shock. The only alien was the incarnation. Jesus the Christ, he brought salvation to every nation. Not a crop circle, some of y'all nerdy, looking like Urkel. Listen, talking purple lights and wheels. Y'all need light in the fields. It's like a spiritual experience. Alien debunker, here he is. Yeah. This debate in physics. Say, yo, check it out. What is it? Exquisite. If it violates the laws of physics, it can't exist. Now, can it? Is it? Your imagination, sensation, your lies, I to you, yo, devastation. Meaning, don't trust it. Check it out now. We had to bust it back all the way. Chariots of the gods. The book is kind of odd. It needs to learn the language. Hey, hot rod, gotta slow down now. Roll with a squad. Yeah, get an archaeologist. Check it out now. We're calling this. Yeah, it's a fib. Meaning a fib. It's fallacious. Check it out, you kid. But you get on the History Channel. Peep this out now, just like flannel. You cover it up like the government. Man, check it out now, I'm not loving it. Hey yo, some of y'all stuff is dumb. Dedicated Area 51 in New Mexico. Here we go. The shape is Calexico. Texaco, they got the gas. Kick the alien theories. I'm just messing. Check this out now. Saw we're texting, vexing, vixen. Yes, we ripping. Grab the mic and then we dipping, flipping, skipping like alien spacecraft. I got to bring the rap. I bring the rap. I'm not no Captain. Check it. Who's the man? BK. He did real well. We had to take y'all to task. I see you sell a lot of these books. Some of these theorists are just a crook. Go to the conference about the Loch Ness Monster with an alien sponsor, man. What's the plan, man? Alienation, man. Y'all need to be damned, man. Now we just slam those theories. So here we clearly come inside the place now. It's a weird tweet. Bring the query. What you doing? Grab the theory and then we ruin. Oh, y'all lie a lot. Read, crash, go, the chariot. Don't forget when we rock. Yes, indeed. We just don't stop. Ooh.